Christopher Bruce is a political strategist and civil rights advocate. He joins us now live from Atlanta. Welcome, Christopher, and thanks so much for taking the time. I want to start with that news there that Trump's set to assign an executive order to shutter the Education Department, which of course fulfills a campaign pledge to dismantle the agency. What are the implications of that closure?
Well, let's start off with this is something that President Donald Trump talked about. This is something that his campaign promised, as well as Project 2025 of him dismantling the Department of Education. One, constitutionally, he cannot do this. Congress is the only place that you can actually have a department dismantled. What he's doing right now is stalling and doing everything he can to make sure the Department of Education does not function, meaning that our Office of Civil Rights, a agency that is dedicated to make sure that Black, brown, and every person who is a citizen of the United States in a public school system receives fair education. That no longer will happen because you do not have an enforcement or supervision power, because he has literally fired thousands of people from the Department of Education. So the outcomes are very far reaching. And while this is happening right now, we will be feeling this for generations to come.
Christopher, there's so much to cover. I want to move on to a line I'm seeing coming in on our newswires now that Trump's demanding the Supreme Court stop judges from blocking his agenda. This seems extraordinary. Trump's confidence seems so much greater than his first presidency, and judges have been blocking his administration's actions most days, but the White House doesn't always comply with their rulings. And now this demand of the Supreme Court. Where is this leading?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because the president who has had the most injunctions put on by a judge has been President Donald Trump. That was in his first term, and it looks like he's going to beat himself on the second term. He cannot go to the Supreme Court as well. One of the things that we do have in common with his first term and his second term is that he does not know how the Constitution works. So the Supreme Court is Article 3, while our judiciary is literally under the realms of our Congress. He's wrong about going to the Supreme Court about this. And he's wrong with the way he's going about trying to make sure that the executive is a unitary executive, meaning it's over the congressional branch and the judiciary branch. This is a fundamental threat to our democracy. No other president has done this before, and we are seeing the ramifications of it. He's only been in office for a little over 50 days. We still have another 4 years of this.
And speaking of threats to democracy, I want to ask you finally about the crackdowns on freedom of speech, freedom of advocacy, freedom of just the right to protest, particularly at universities. Musk and Vance continually talk about the right to have a freedom of speech, but they seem to be doing a lot to crack down on it. Where do you think this is going, and how concerned are people at universities?
Well, people in universities are very concerned, but I will tell you up front, this did not start with Donald Trump. The right to protest and fundamental rights within our First Amendment, freedom of association, have always been under attack. Unfortunately, this is one time that Elon Musk and President Donald Trump have actually agreed and are making a targeted effort to make a difference within this area. Everyone should be very concerned. The United States is a beacon for freedom of speech. And now you have someone who's trying to roll this back in the most fundamentally worst way possible, where if your rights are taken away, be careful, because it is very hard to get them back.
Christopher Bruce, political strategist and civil rights advocate, thank you so much for your time here on TRT World.